Welcome back to the Max Your Dash podcast. Thank you for listening, liking, and sharing. I'm your host, Steve. We're back with our co-hosts, Nate and Mark. Mark, you're back for your first one of the year. Well, we've only done one, so you only missed one.
All right. I didn't know that.
There was one comment on our last video. They voted for Adam over you. They said,
right.
Bring in Adam.
That's fine.
No way.
It's fine.
It was Ross. but there was someone.
It is good to have some diversity. Like, Nate's not a true redhead. He's only kind of...
Adam did a good job. He did a good job. It was good for his... Because your Max Your Dash moments are always just the bourbon, so Adam was perfect. He was talking about his thing, his being a dad. He loved it.
Lame.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
lame.
He's doing it for the fans.
He was.
I'm being honest.
He's being the good guy. Yeah, you're the transparent guy. Let's do some Max Your Dash moments. If you're new here, Max Your Dash moment is a time you were feeling true joy and happiness. Could be something big, could be something small. We start episodes out with this because it's fun. We like talking about the cool stuff happening.
Yes.
You got one?
I'm not going first.
All right, mine is it has we are in Rochester, New York, and it has been a blizzardy January and February, and this last week it feels like spring. Dude, you know what's awesome is when it gets darker later and you wake up and
the morning darkness. It's driving me nuts.
Oh, I've been sleeping in.
What time the hell do you wake up? 4 o'clock?
Today it was actually...
Dude, it's dark until like after 7 now, I feel.
7:30 is sunrise.
Yeah,
7:30 is sunrise.
I hate that. I need it to be sunrising like 6:15.
I don't care. I would choose this 100 times.
It's so nice, dude.
Although bedtime is a little bit annoying.
Dude, it's ruined my household this week. Anyway, we're talking about Max Your Dash moments.
Yeah, jeez.
That was negative.
So my Max Your Dash moment is yours that you hate it. Okay.
No, I love the weather.
Yeah. No, it really
67
does.
today.
If you're a New Yorker, it actually does a lot for your energy.
For sure.
Huge.
Yeah, it's
I
crazy.
think it's for everybody.
It's actually scientifically proven.
You're supposed to be outside. Yeah. Do you know how vitamin D gets made in the body?
No, it's
sunlight and cholesterol in your bloodstream, you know?
Yeah.
Well, how do we get sunlight? We're inside all day.
Wait, what's going on with Kerry Breck again? Is he a fake?
I don't know.
What's all that stuff that's going on? I haven't read in any of it, but
I think that what's his face there, Cardone was wrong by putting those...
Wait, give me the TLDR of what happened.
I don't know what started the fight. I think they owned a company together.
Brecca, so 10X is like the Cardone brand.
Oh.
He helped Brecca build the 10X health brand.
Okay.
But they broke apart because they just had a bad breakup, and now Cardone is like trashing him about gambling and
he's
like that.
He put questions in there that could be nothing there, no answer at all. Like they're completely false, and but it makes the person reading it be like, oh my god, like if there is an answer to this, like it's,
But it has nothing to do with like his health, like education.
Right.
It's like personal attack,
Interesting.
like debt and stuff like that.
Oh, I thought it was like he's been proven wrong and all this stuff is BS.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. The only accusations in the form of a question were like, did you perform like experiments or something like that on like weird stuff in South America? And I don't know. It was just uncomfortable that he put those questions out there. But
anywho,
all right, yeah, you're up. Max Your Dash moment.
Me? All right, I'm gonna just cherry pick, like kind of playing off the weather. It's a big deal. Yesterday, took Grayson outside. He had his construction hat on. I had my helmet on. We were cutting some trees down.
Oh, I saw that. That's what Nicole. Yeah, you reposted that on your story. I saw that this morning. I was like, this is cute, but if this was my childhood, I would have hated it. Taking a outside.
You wouldn't know any different. So you would.
That's a good point.
You would end up liking it.
Yeah. That's
true.
just,
dude, that makes me so happy getting the kids outside. I hate how locked up we were this winter and like, you're just like watching too much TV and stuff. It was great.
Dude, I literally let Enzo out like a dog. I'm like, go down those stairs, get out there, go do something. Then he gets hurt 2 seconds later. I told you guys he threw a hose head through our basement window. Shattered that.
Dude, he's like a mini you.
He's bad.
He's bad.
What's yours?
Mine is that this is the last weekend for birthday season. I've had like 17 birthday parties for my 2 kids, which doesn't make any sense. So I'm finally done with that.
He's done celebrating.
I'm really excited to be done with birthday season until mine in October, which I don't even
wait. No, Lindsay's birthday.
Dude, don't forget about my birthday.
Monday. September. But like we got a good break now. February was Carmela, March is Enzo, and
we always used to do something crazy. I feel like for Lindsay's birthday, those are I think that birthday and Nicole's birthday were the ones that I have the most memory of, like actually partying.
Yeah, we did have fun for like the St. Patty's Day stuff. We're going out tonight, not for that, but it'll be fun.
Nice. All right,
let's do it.
We got some fun stuff today. We are going to talk about. I feel like, do you guys ever go on Reddit for anything?
No.
I get to Reddit via like Googling things, and then
it's like the first thing that pops
like
up.
Answers in there, and I'll read it through that.
What is Reddit like? All just
it's like a giant forum on anything.
Okay,
and so they have subreddits of pretty much every single different topic you can think about, so people can post about and talk about.
Like fact checked. Like it's just going to be whatever.
No. Yes, correct. But that's almost the allure of it. Because if it was like fact check, exactly. So
by the way, have you looked at Reddit's stock?
Tanked.
Did it tank recently?
Yeah.
Because it was up.
It was supposed to be
when it went.
Someone told me they were going to buy Reddit earlier.
Huh?
Someone told me they were buying Reddit like last couple weeks.
Might not be a bad idea. When they IPO'd, they went way up, and I think they've tanked since.
Yeah.
But the subreddit for personal finance is massive. So it's a lot of people asking personal finance questions and then people answering it. So I thought what we would do today is I give you guys got no laptops, no nothing. You don't know these questions. I just kind of cherry picked some good questions. I thought, what better to answer personal finance questions than financial advisors? I'm curious, like, I always wonder about the people that are answering these questions in here and are getting like top things. Like, what are they? Like, not necessarily you have to be qualified for some of these, obviously, but I'm just like always curious, like, who are these people answering? Because some people answer like really good, dude. Personal finance is like a hobby for some people. There's some really neurotic people with their finances. It's really interesting. But are you guys ready? This is gonna test your guys' financial planning. Now, I'm curious to see what you guys would do. Okay, question 1. I just bought my first house. Homeowners, what are some of the things you wish you knew when you bought your first house?
Sell it.
I would say okay.
Yeah, no, you go ahead.
I feel it. So like I bought a house that was pretty new. My house was built in 2009. I bought it in 2016. That's pretty new, I would say.
Yeah. And
I think people like don't realize that things are gonna break. Like you just like I assume like I'm not gonna have to ever replace my furnace or whatever because it's a newer house, but like I had to replace my furnace and it's really expensive when these things break.
That's actually crazy that you had to replace your furnace. Yeah, that's like that's pretty abnormal for that young.
But these things happen. You know. So like when we always talk about you got to have an emergency fund, like you really need to when you buy a house.
Give 3 things that you wish you knew before you bought a house. Things? Well, I mean, it's kind of different because you're a financial advisor, so you know.
But even me, you get so excited to buy the house that like you'll take risk that you might not really have you might not be ready financially, but you want it so bad.
Yeah.
So like you need to have an emergency fund, and you really got to have an emergency fund.
Yeah.
That would be one. The other thing is like, I don't know. There's a lot of work that goes into it. Like, I don't know, depending on your situation, but like my house in particular, mowing the lawn is a couple hours every week, and then there's a lot of other shit, and your bushes get out of control and look like crap, and there's just a lot of work I think that goes into home ownership, and you need to kind of want that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, things you just get behind and it gets overwhelming. Can I kind of stop with 2?
No, you're good. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mark.
Mine is that there's no such thing as move-in ready. You may buy this house saying it's perfect, I don't need to do a damn thing to it. Guarantee you're spending $10,000 to $20,000 after you move in. Yeah. Even if you think it's ready.
Even if you have someone come check out the house and see if there's anything you need to do.
What happened? Like I remember specifically, and I didn't like necessarily love my house when I bought it, but I remember being like, oh, we don't have to do anything when we move in.
Yeah.
Immediately started doing stuff to the house.
Yeah.
Like you just because you want to make it yours. So that's just the reality of it. So yeah, the emergency fund, add some extra expense to the emergency fund, knowing that you're gonna spend money on upgrades as soon as you get into the house.
Yeah.
And then I hate owning a home. I should add that. I hate it. It's because of what Nate's saying. There's so much you have to do outside of just living in that house if you want to keep it. And it's not just inside but outside.
Yeah. Okay. From 2 homeowners and financial advisors. That's kind of it.
It's a lot of work.
Question 2. This guy says retirement feels impossible. How do people actually save for retirement if they make an average salary? My husband and I are 31. We bring in $110K a year before taxes. We have 3 kids and pay a mortgage. We own our cars but pay daycare. And then with all the costs, groceries, diapers, yada, 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 we have $40K each in our retirement accounts and another $30K saved. The typical answer is that we should have our yearly salary 3x saved by now, but I don't feel like that's realistic. Anyone else worried how you'll save for retirement? I feel like a failure that won't be able to save for college funds or wedding funds for our kids, at least right now. Help me find solidarity.
Mark, you go first.
I mean, that's a crazy scenario there. I wouldn't be able
I
to
feel like
make
this is most people. They're afraid of retirement.
$110,000 total income?
Yeah.
That they probably don't even need to save for retirement. Like, very little. They have... Like, Social Security is going to replace a bulk of what they're used to living off of. If they're paying for daycare with 3 kids, that's the reality of it, is they don't understand what their needs are and what they actually have to have by the time they retire. They're probably doing really well. Like, the fact that they make $110,000 and have a $30,000 emergency fund.
Yep.
We have clients who make $400,000 and don't have that.
Yeah, we have top comment is go easy on yourselves. You make $110K and have saved up $110K by 31. You're on pace and likely far ahead of most.
Yeah, I would say they're crushing it for that scenario.
And I feel like that's the type of person that thinks they don't need to talk to a financial advisor because they don't have enough money or something. And they're like, that's a perfect example of why you should talk to an advisor. Because if you forecast this stuff out, you'll see that you're actually doing a lot better than you think you are. Also, like they mentioned, like the daycare thing in there, you know, like when we're helping clients plan out retirement, they might actually be behind right now, but the saving strategy that we can implement in 3 years when the daycare goes away catches you up and then some. So you, like we always talk about on this podcast, like that's having a financial plan, like figuring out not only what you can do with your cash flow today, but future cash flow.
Yep.
And then how that all comes together.
Yeah. I agree with that.
I think that is the case. It is most people who think they're probably undercovered.
Yeah.
But people are hard on themselves for the most part. And they have the chaos of their life of having 3 kids. And they're like, oh my God, we're not saving enough money, blah, blah, blah. So it's really like, just get more in touch with what you actually have going on and like get specific about what your retirement goal is. Because you think about retirement, but do you actually have a goal? Like when you say, does it feel impossible? Is it because you know your goal is to retire at X age off of X amount? Probably not. Because if you didn't know that, you know you're on track. So just get more clear on your financial situation. And don't listen to the internet.
Yeah.
Obviously. And don't listen to us, obviously, because we're the internet. Next question. This guy. All right. I'm about to receive a $73,000 US settlement from a personal injury case. Parentheses, pedestrian hit by a truck. Oh, man. Wait, you only get $73K for getting hit by a truck?
Tell him to
I'd be done for life. You got $73,000 for getting rammed by a truck. Oh. I've never really had any money before. Any advice?
Oh, jeez. How old was this person?
Doesn't say.
Okay.
Hire a new attorney.
And after attorney fees, he's probably taking home $50K. Do you pay tax on a settlement case?
No, but they take like 30%. The attorneys do.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So any advice?
What should you be? I guess because he doesn't have it. There's no like specifics on what his situation looks like.
Invest it immediately. Take it out of your bank account.
Yeah, but what if he has debt, no emergency fund, like stuff like that?
Sure.
You got to give clarifying questions.
Yeah, we need to have an in-depth conversation. But it's like such a great opportunity when you have a lump sum of cash like that.
Yeah.
You know, to like really make it work for you. And how many people, like you hear the stories of they win the lottery and they're broke like in 5 years or whatever. Like how many people get a personal settlement case and spend it all in 5 years?
Yeah,
it's got to be a lot of them. And then you look back and you absolutely are going to regret that.
Especially if you've never had money like
that.
The
new car you bought and all this stuff like gets old and then you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I probably should have saved that money.
So I think if you break it down like this though, like literally first thing I would say is if you have personal debt, besides a mortgage and student loan, you pay that debt. Like that's the first thing you do, I think.
If you have interest rates on debt above like 6-7%,
pay that down. And then remainder, emergency fund if you don't have that. Remainder after that is investing. I would say, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want to invest and
That's fair, Steve. That's fair.
Yeah. I think, do the foundational stuff first. Pay off your bad debt, emergency fund, then invest it.
Yeah. But this is the funny thing about the internet. He probably put this on there because he wanted someone to say, buy this stock. Yeah. People think like they were going to say, put 73K in this meme coin or this stock because it's how you get rich. We just said pay down debt, put money in an emergency fund, and put money in your 401k. That's lame. No one wants to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Taxable investment account.
Taxable investment account. That sounds fun. All right, 73K. Hopefully he's okay. Pay medical bills. Probably needs to do that, right?
Probably.
Or do they probably?
I'm
pay
guessing
for
if
that.
he got 73K, he didn't get hurt that bad. Like,
Where they ran over his toe.
Maybe he got door checked.
he might have like broke. Yeah, he might have like messed up his shoulder or something, but he's good.
Okay, so here we go. This guy says, what's a small change you made in your finances that had a ridiculous payoff? Examples, changing auto insurance every 6 to 12 months.
Oh my God.
Use your home equity instead of a credit card. Get cash back when you shop on Amazon. Now, those aren't the examples I would use when thinking what's a small change you had a ridiculous payoff. What about
Small
you?
change that had a ridiculous
in your
payoff.
finances.
Mark, you gotta go for something.
So I think this is obvious answer.
We got it.
Yeah.
Automating your finances.
Yeah, that's it. That's
Automating your finances.
100%.
Yes. Direct deposits into certain accounts.
Yes.
Fixed bills come out of one account.
Yeah.
The old two babies.
Yeah.
Pay yourself first.
That's as small of a ridiculous impact that you can make.
100%.
I don't know, because like what else? This guy's clearly looking for like, how did
This guy changes auto insurance every
that's saving him $10 every 6 months. That's not gonna.
That's crazy.
What a wild question.
On the theme of automation, I would say, and this is not fall. I feel like this might be breaking the rules, but I don't know if I call this a small change, but it kind of feels like one to me. Like you have like max out your 401k and just figure it out.
Yeah.
Or like increase the percentage to like whatever. Don't try to think about what you can afford.
Yeah.
Like just do it, and then. But then what's crazy is how much that changes
Yeah.
your wealth in 5 years.
Yeah. I think there's this that just reminded me of something. I think new 401k plans have to have auto escalation as a feature on them. That should be something that everyone does. They increase their 401k by 1% a year until they're maxing it out.
Yeah.
Dude, how did you not plug the the monthly finance meeting here? That's one
Damn
small
it,
thing.
Steve, that's a good one.
I gave you a softball.
Sorry.
Mark actually really hit that out of the park.
When that question first was, as soon as it hit my mind, I was like, this is ridiculous.
Why?
But no, it took me a second to think of something. But, like, small change that made what did you say?
Get ridiculous payoff.
Ridiculous payoff.
Get cash back when you shop on Amazon. That's really.
Dude, my answer almost was like the whole credit card game.
Yeah, you get $6 back a month if you spend $300.
If you're talking about little small things, a small thing is upping your 401k by 1% today. That is literally ridiculous payoff if you look at what it looks like.
True.
It's easy.
All right.
Next, I have 40k that I can invest. What should I use it for? Between my wife and I, we make around 11k per month after taxes. I feel like Ramsey right now. This is what Dave Ramsey does on his stuff, right? Never actually watched one of his things, but our monthly expenses come out to almost 5k, which leaves us with 5 to 6k per month that we use for food, fun, and gas. I'm sure after all that, we still have 3 to 4k left over that will accumulate onto the 40k. We just paid off all our credit card debt. Only major debt we have is a car loan, my wife's student loan debt. Looking for some advice. How can I start making our money work for us? Any side hustles or advice would help. I don't want our money to be sitting in the bank. I mean, these guys don't know how good they have it.
Yeah, they're killing it.
Yeah.
They're killing it.
Why do people go on Reddit and post questions like that? Why don't they just find a financial advisor?
Because, dude,
It's a great question. I think there's a lot of people out there that there's a distrust with financial advisors.
I mean, look at us.
That's wild to me. It's like, well, you're putting this out there to. This is like when
it is the wild.
This is like when my wife goes to Facebook for medical advice.
Instead of going to a financial advisor, listen to the top comment. His name is Cheeseman1.
Oh my god.
Cheeseman1478. You can't make this up. Top comment from Cheeseman. Hey, babe, we gotta change our finances. Cheeseman said we got.
My advice to that person is find an independent financial advisor.
No, that's us. Yeah. Give them the advice. We're supposed to be educating these people because there's a lot of people like this. So give the advice.
Don't listen to Cheeseman.
He's got 40k to invest, and on top of that, they probably have 3 to 4k left over. It doesn't sound like they are doing anything investing wise. So what would you tell this person to do?
Taxable.
Well, okay, yeah, but what about the retirement?
Yeah, I mean, if they can, max out a couple Roth IRAs, Start an investment account. We don't know enough about the situation, but it really does just sound like they need a financial plan.
Yeah.
It really does. I hate to say it. It's a really lazy answer, but they need that. Like, they have tons of extra free cash flow, no bad debt.
Yeah.
What do we do with it now?
Jeez, man.
Set goals. And then
they need
strategies.
I think the first thing is they do need to set goals because they have all this money and they don't have specific things that they want to do with it. You know what I mean?
They sound like savers, like accountant type people. They they're good with managing the money, but like they don't they're not thinking about goals.
I think they're being smart, like not letting it get out of hand because they could be at $200,000 in cash before they do anything about it.
Yeah, and it sounds like they don't have kids with expenses of $5,000. If that's the case, I mean, save as much money as you can right now before daycare and stuff like that pops up. If that's something you want to do, because it looks, I mean, your situation looks great.
Taxable investment account.
Taxable investment account. This isn't direct advice though. Don't listen to us. Next one. Does a 401k make sense if you earn a low salary? I make around 32 grand a year. My company offers a 401k match, but I could really use that extra money for day-to-day expenses. I hear a lot of conflicting advice. Some say every little bit helps. Others say it's better focus on emergency fund first. Is it worth contributing when my income is that low?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you use probably Roth, but Roth.
Why
401k?
Roth?
Because he doesn't make any money. It's 32,000 standard deduction. Take that. He's probably paying. He's probably paying like 8% effective tax rate.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So fund the Roth.
So you would say guys would say 401k.
Yeah. You can't leave free money on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. This is good advice though down here. Top comment by Apprehensive Book. You can't afford to not contribute, even if it's $20 per paycheck. Your money will work harder for you invested than being spent. It will feel like not much over time, but you'll see the impact.
I feel like it's the human behavior part of it too, like just building a habit of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the $20 a month thing is not going to make a big dent long term, but you start and then you add more and you add more and you add more. If you never start, I don't know if you'll add more. Oh God,
they're just so fun. No, kids.
Who's the top comment? Was that one?
Apprehensive Book 8010.
Sounds better.
Pretty good. This person.
What would your handle be?
This person who's asking this question, Lady Arwen of Gondor. Okay.
What's going on?
All right. Preparing for possible job loss. This is actually relevant today. This was 6 hours ago, so yeah. I'm not sure if this is the right place to ask this question. Okay, so my company is going to do layoffs in the upcoming summer. I feel like I'm going to be on the short end of the stick. I have a few months of savings to get me by, but looking at the state of the market, it seems bleak. My biggest expense is my housing mortgage, which I bought years ago. What can I do to avoid selling my home in the instance I am unable to find work given the current job market? Trying to stay positive, but the nerves are getting to me. Would love to hear thoughts on anyone that is preparing for being laid off.
Definitely focus on savings,
Mm-hmm.
but I think my biggest advice is you need to be working with a recruiter or something. Like,
update your resume.
You need to be thinking about your move.
Yeah. Maybe try to provide some more value to that company so you don't get on the chopping list.
Mm-hmm.
Chopping block.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's less to do with, I mean, obviously focus on your savings, but I think the advice is really to get ahead of being laid off and do that. If you do get laid off, though, I think this is an opportunity for people. If you do get laid off,
file for unemployment.
Yep. And then the health insurance, you can go on Cobra, which is a little bit more expensive. But
Maybe
if you don't do that,
little severance package.
Yep. But
I actually just had a client email me this past week that got laid off. They have a severance package and Cobra is covered for 12 months.
Pretty good.
That's nice.
Hopefully her company's nice like that.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good severance.
Yeah. All right. I stopped contributing to my 401k. What should I do about Roth? Is this smart? The question is this. My husband continues to contribute to his 401k because his match is amazing. 8% of his salary. Wow, that is a good match. Mm-hmm. But I stopped in order to beef up our emergency fund because of all this uncertainty. We have about 65k saved, about 10 months of bare bones expenses, and I want 80k. Jeez, that is so much. What are you preparing for? My 401k match is $50 a paycheck, which I get regardless. Is this smart to do? Also, we have until April 15th to contribute to my husband's Roth for year 24. I feel like we should dump $7,000 in there, but instead continue to stack the emergency fund. So she doesn't want to put money into the Roth. She wants to keep putting money in the emergency fund. I mean, this is a personal preference thing, but like if your end goal is to have more wealth, then no, it's to stop putting. If you have if you got 65k in your emergency fund, that's too much already. I think that's what the book says.
Yeah, she sounds like a person who worries,
Yeah.
and that type of person is going to want to have more money in the bank because it eliminates in their mind worry. I wish people were more comfortable with like less money sitting in a savings account and more money being invested that you know you can get to if an emergency actually happens.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the Roth, for example. I know that there's like the 5-year rule or whatever, but like your 401k has accessibility, Roth has accessibility, taxable investment account is very liquid. Your money working for you is going to be far better than just sitting in a savings account.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I also think, I mean, this isn't really going to answer this person's question, but there's this like common misunderstanding that you should only do a 401k up to the match or if it has a match. I don't really understand that. I get the question kind of a lot too.
Yeah.
It's a great tool regardless. It's tax deferred savings. There's nothing else that defers your taxes besides Roth IRAs, 401ks, and traditional IRAs.
HSAs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Variable annuities.
Yeah.
Well, ETFs.
That's not for sure.
Tax evasion.
Yeah, tax evasion, sure. But it's just a good tax deferral automated savings that's going to work out for them long term. I don't know.
Whole life insurance.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we sound like financial advisors, like saying like invest your money, don't put all that in there. But
shouldn't they find out if they're on track for retirement without doing the 7,000 into the Roth, without doing the 401k?
Yeah.
Like find out if you're on track for retirement.
Yeah. Anything?
No, let's keep going.
Okay, this is a interesting one. Is now a bad time to open a Roth IRA? I'm 24 years old. I've been meaning to open up a Roth IRA for a while now, but I haven't gotten around to it, mainly because of how overwhelmed I feel in the options of where to invest in money. Is it bad to open a Roth IRA now? If not, do you have any suggestions on how to invest the initial money? This is interesting because I feel like
literally free services for this.
The question should be, is it bad to invest right now? Opening the Roth IRA is... A Roth IRA is not inherently bad in general. Opening up the account has nothing to do. It's how you invest it.
Mm-hmm.
Man, this is just makes me think like there's just such a lack of there's a massive gap in education on this stuff. And like so many people are just trying to figure it out themselves on cheese man's over here.
You probably don't even hear about a Roth IRA until you graduate from college.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Short term, also, if the question is now a bad time to invest into a Roth IRA? If you have a long-term time horizon and your goal is to build long-term wealth, you shouldn't care about short-term market volatility.
I don't know if there's a better thing a 24-year-old could do than invest
money in a Roth IRA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what you said when we said, what was your biggest financial mistake that you wish you go back? You said you wish you maxed out a Roth.
God, it makes me sick.
I mean, the data shows that there's never a time to, like, never a bad time to invest. Even like there's some, I don't have it in front of me, but even investing at all-time highs returns you positive returns.
Right.
So it just always invest.
Unless your time horizon is tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right. I have 2/3 of my retirement invested in target date funds. Is this unwise? I opened a Roth IRA when I was 24 years old. I'm late 30s now just because my job didn't offer a 401k. Eventually, I got a job that offered a 401k diverse mix of investments. I've been maxing out my Roth the past few years, but I still overall contribute more to my 401k. Since I've had the Roth much longer than 401k, my balance is higher there, and I'm also continuing to contribute to the Roth. As a result, about 2/3 of my total retirement savings are in 2055 target date funds. I'm generally investing savvy, and if someone asked me if being 100% invested in one of these funds was good or bad, I would tell them it's not a bad idea, and you could certainly do a lot worse. I guess I'm looking to get a gut check to make sure I'm not being unwise by being so invested in a target date fund. Is this a problem? Should I reallocate? What does the book say?
Well, I mean, one thing I don't like that in the language of that is I'm 2/3 invested in a target date fund, making it sound like it's one thing that you're invested in.
Yeah.
When really it's an extremely diversified portfolio of things.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't have an issue with it.
No.
At all.
I think it's a great place to start. Get you a good diversified portfolio. There's certainly flaws in them.
Yeah, but I'm going to push back. The book, what does the book say?
Who's the book?
The book is Financial Planning Efficiency. If you gave this to the answer, it's not a place to start. This guy's been contributing to his 401k for 10 years. 90% of his investments is in a target date fund. I think it's not inherently bad, but what's the book say? What's the most efficient thing to do? Probably not a target date fund.
Probably not.
If you wanted to be the most efficient, like I'm not saying you're messing up by any means, but
I mean, I typically recommend to people in their 401k to buy a target date fund.
Yeah, at least in the beginning.
Right.
Because
like
there's the human behavior component of things. Like you're not going to go in and
Yeah.
rebalance on your own. You're not going to.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not doing the research to understand, is now the time to be an international versus US? Like it's just a do it for you solution that works over time. Is it the best investment strategy you could possibly do? Maybe not, but
This is the language I use, Mark, and you said this once, and I've used it ever since. You probably never even use it now. You call it a one size.
Oh, yeah.
It says
I do.
one size fits all, but fits no one in particular approach.
Yeah. Yeah. Like if you're, I would say like if you're not,
that's good.
it's
That's what
true.
Mark said.
Well, it's true. It's the suit off the rack thing.
Yeah, there you go. It's shoot off the rack. He's all over him like a cheap suit.
It's made for everyone. It's not made for anyone in particular.
There you, dude. That's good.
But I think that like,
And that's not bad.
I think if you're trying to figure this stuff out on your own, go with the target date.
Yeah.
I don't think you should try to build your own custom portfolio with no advice, with no one following up on it with you and making tweaks to it.
Yeah.
The downside to them is they follow more of a modern portfolio theory approach. So that you're going to have 20 to 30% international equities in it
Good
all the
right
time.
now.
It's good right now.
You're not going to turn any heads with a target date fund
Right.
like you are with a
Right.
off the rack suit.
You've underperformed in a target date fund for the last probably 20 years.
Yeah.
So
Dude, I love that off the rack. That's
Yeah.
a great analogy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. There we go. We got 3 more questions.
put that in your notes.
Yep. Right here. 25 years old, not great savings, but no debt. Just kind of reevaluating my life right now.
Really?
These
People are mature in a way.
I know.
wasn't thinking about that. at
I got my
25.
master's degree in May, began my career as a therapist. I used my initial savings of $40K to put myself through graduate school along with working part-time jobs. I've since gotten my savings back up to $3K. I'm trying very hard to get good with my money and budget well. I'm just struggling, feel like I'm doing the wrong things, or maybe I should be investing in something, but I don't know the first thing about it. I'm also hearing about high-yield savings accounts. Does anyone have any tips on how to get this, or if I could do this from an online bank? Thank you all in advance. No, not
So
great.
what did she ask and what
He's
to do?
got, they got no savings, but no debt.
And we don't know like if what they're working with.
Doesn't look like it.
But you got to have an emergency fund.
Yeah.
You got to commit to doing that.
Yeah.
Feels like they're doing the wrong things, or maybe I should be investing in something, but don't know the first thing about it.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a lot of people.
Yeah.
But the
So
good
they
news
went
is
to
they have no
Reddit.
debt. That's awesome. High five. Well,
Yeah.
dude, you think about it. Financial advisor is
Intimidating.
Yep,
Yeah.
intimidating.
Yeah.
Like, where do you go?
And everyone thinks that it's just for wealthy people.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
that's tough.
But they're in it. Just having no debt by itself is
good.
is awesome.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
So
Like,
you're
you have
probably
no
in a
student
place to
loans,
like
no
really
debt.
start investing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would have you had brought up earlier automating finances.
Yeah.
Like we need to get you automating money into emergency fund, retirement,
Yeah.
maybe taxable investment account.
The perfect way to start dipping your toes into investing, if you know nothing about it, is just putting a percentage in your 401k.
Yes.
Mhm.
That's the perfect way to dip your toes into it, and get some exposure to the markets without having to know what's really going on.
Mhm.
Because they most of the time they set it up for you where it's like they put you in a target date fund and you don't even have to do anything. So most of the time, but be careful with that. Most of the time it's like set up for you,
Mm-hmm.
which is cool. But that's the first place to start, I would say. 25 years old, though, you're right. It's like I was not doing that either.
Reevaluating your life at 25 is intense.
Yeah.
Your life just started.
Sounds like someone who got their masters.
Yeah.
All right. This is from Chan from State Farm. I'm a financial mess and financially illiterate.
Is that really how you started it? Okay.
25-year-old male. He's a 25-year-old male, and my girlfriend is a 33-year-old female. We're struggling financially. We have 2 young children. He's 25 and she's 33, and they have 2 young children. And despite both working full time, I make 19 an hour, she makes 20 an hour. We constantly cycle through our financial crisis. Unexpected expenses, childcare issues, debt keeps us from saving. And then they give us a quick breakdown of their budgets and stuff. So essentially, out the door is $3,300 a month, and they make $6,000 a month. I don't see the problem. Total with 2 jobs is $6,000. And that's if they put out a caveat. That's if there's no missed work with no kids getting sick, which happens a lot. But on a normal month, their expenses are $3,300, and they take in $6,000. What I'm hearing is that if those are your expenses and you're still feeling tight, you're probably overspending in an area.
Yeah.
That's $3,000.
Yeah.
How do you only spend $3,300 a month if you're a married couple with 2 kids?
Childcare is $780 a month. They have here. Credit card minimums.
That's what I pay almost like a week.
Their budget is just my daycare bill. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, they pay $800 for rent. Yeah, their expenses are low.
Yeah,
Really low.
Yeah.
They just need to
I
eat.
would give there's room there to actually start doing stuff where you got to get like there's something magical that happens when you have an emergency fund with this worry stuff that this person's talking about. So you gotta figure that out. But when you were reading it, the first thing I wanted to say is like, and this would be like a little bit of tough love, but like I hate like people can have a plan to increase their income.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's your plan to increase your income over the next 3 to 5 years?
Yep.
Like, don't just accept that I make $19 an hour forever. Like, no, you can make a lot more than that. You need to think about what skills you're going to acquire, whatever, and how you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Or else you're just going to be stuck in this mode forever.
Oh, here's the thing. Here's the caveat. I didn't read this. In parentheses, not including ordering food or miscellaneous purchases. That's where $3,000's going. Apparently, has to be.
Yeah.
Essentially, what you should be doing right now is just get more clear with what's going on. Track your expenses every week right now. Do that and see why you don't have $3,000 left over. Because if these are actually your expenses, you have $3,000 left over every single month. There's no financial issue here. So it means that these numbers are just wrong or you're overspending. It's not like you're living paycheck to paycheck with paying for your kids and stuff like that. I think a lot of things is like people just tracking their finances more.
And ask yourself every day, how am I going to grow my income?
How am I going to grow my income? Yep.
Just journal that for 365 days.
Last question. From Tiny Robots Laser Beams.
Wow.
Getting a bad idea to dump 90% of my bonus into paying off car debt. Getting a work bonus that could cover the balance on my car at about $11,000. I really want to pay it off as I've been working on getting out of debt, but I've been struggling with my car payment since I got slammed by most bills at the end of the month and first few days of the month. Any downside or things to consider before paying off the $11,000 I owe on my car?
Is there any other high interest debt you could pay off first?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an emergency fund?
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I don't see a problem with it. Sounds like he needs to free up some cash.
This is what I always think, and this is like really analytical. I hate getting in conversations like this because it's like, I guess, whatever. So, like, let's say their interest rate on the car, did he say it was high? He doesn't even say it's a high payment. Let's say his interest rate is like 3% in the car. If he just took that $11,000 and put it even in a high yield savings account, he's making more on the interest in that than he would in the car. So it's like the math works out to not do that.
Right.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, then are you going to really?
I've got a very similar scenario. This just happened to me yesterday, and I think this is like a great question that people ask all the time. So, we have a client with $600,000 in their joint account, wants to buy a house. If they do 20%, like they want to get to at least 20% down, but they could do more.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to answer the question, like, should you do more? Like, should you keep more of your money invested or should you put more on the mortgage?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, 3% is ridiculous. Like, you should almost never pay that off early. But what's happening today is mortgage rates are 6-7%. You can buy points, get it down lower. But, like, how would you answer that question? Should you put more down? Assuming you can cash flow the mortgage payments regardless.
Yeah.
Should you put more down than 20% if your mortgage is 7%? And take money out of the market, out of your investment account, or keep more of it invested.
Yeah.
It's a hard one. I hate personally, like, I feel like people would struggle to ever use home equity for other things in their life.
Yeah.
But like an investment account, there's so many ways you can use it.
Yeah.
No one's gonna go take out a HELOC to go on a safari vacation someday or whatever with their family, but they might take money out of their joint investment account to do something like that.
Yeah, you
So
gotta
have
know
the equity there.
What are the side effects of doing more, other than like, so there's a positive one, you have a lower monthly payment, you have more equity in your home, but what are you giving up as a result of that has to be taken into consideration. But also, I mean, putting more than 20% down at real estate levels right now is a little scary. Like, maybe not in this particular situation, but there could be a housing correction. You could immediately lose your 20% down.
True.
Could be gone instantly. or 30% down if they want.
Yeah, people don't think about
Right.
real estate like that.
But the interest rate thing's kind of interesting. Like, do you do 20% down now, wait until interest rates come down, and then refinance, and you can put more down at that time?
Mm-hmm.
Could make some more sense. I don't know. It kind of depends on what they're targeting for a payment. I feel like, and what's sustainable, because
and that's why I said it. Let's assume that the
they're
payment isn't the
it's
issue.
never going to be a problem. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather have the liquidity in an investment account than the equity in the house.
Probably, yeah, more than likely. Because
is there a tipping point, like where a rate gets too high?
Yeah, we're probably
close.
Yeah, we're probably there. Yeah. This is like a one environment where it's really hard to put 20% down, but like or more. But it's one environment where I see the argument more of having a higher percentage down. This environment that we're in right now.
Yeah, especially if you're trying to get to a monthly payment number, that's kind of the ultimate trump card.
Yeah. But it's you're now this client situation is pretty good. So, but you're giving up a lot of liquidity by doing it, unless you go take the HELOC on and then you add a payment to your break back to your budget. And
that's another really good point, is like, to get equity out of your house, if you're still living there, it's a loan.
Yeah.
Which comes with a payment and an interest rate.
Yeah.
To take money out of an investment account,
right,
could be a loan,
right,
but it also could just be cash.
Yeah.
And you don't have to pay back.
Yeah. It seems like
a pretty big
it seems like leaning towards the 20% down. You have the ability to borrow, because you can always put more money down on it.
That was the most in depth you guys went for that question.
It wasn't even answering that guy's question.
Well, 3%.
Laser beam.
Laser beam. Yeah. So that was it. What do you guys think? Do you like it? I think you're right. The takeaway is that people aren't very financially literate, and we're not ragging on anyone.
And they're intimidated by financial advisors.
Yeah.
And look, the reality is, we should do a podcast someday on the wild west of financial advisors, because there is, depending on who you talk to, you could be in, there might be incentives that you don't understand happening. But
I think a lot of these people should be asking, where's an inexpensive way to start working with a financial advisor,
right?
An independent financial advisor, because
why independent? Why is that important?
I saw, so they're not working with. So I literally saw, there's all this stuff going on with the correctional officers in New York State. And I saw this guy who I know who he is and who he works for. It's for an insurance company, saying, reach out to me. I don't charge for financial advice. Oh, really? You don't? So you're going to sell them a product to get commission on it.
Right.
That you're trying to play yourself off as the good guy, because you're going to give them free financial advice. You're getting paid. No one does anything for free.
Yeah.
So that's why you want to work with an independent advisor that's not going to do something for free.
Yeah. You eliminate a lot of conflict of interest when you work with an independent advisor.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Maybe we should do this again if we liked it and people want to see more financial questions. I think this is like cool, because this is what people are thinking, and it's a little funny too. I like.
I'm surprised you didn't find one in there like about
there wasn't
Trump
really,
tariffs and should I get all my money out of the market?
There wasn't anything
Trump's
like
president?
that.
No infinity banking recommendations?
No, I think there's a whole life insurance.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
No, I meant no one recommended it to any of these people.
Oh, I didn't look at the recommendations because I was gonna go crazy. But
all right.
Thank you guys for listening and watching the Max Yourdash podcast. We will catch you in the next one.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Osaic Wealth Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Osaic Wealth is separately owned, and other entities and/or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Osaic Wealth.